She's April.
And she's Molly.
And we are
the Book Besties. I was happy to be from Ohio. I'm a little less happy about it now.
It's boobies.
That book was just fucking. That's all it was. Fucking an alien.
Deborah Harkness at least gives us fucking.
It was absolutely no help whatsoever.
Actually, it gave you plenty of time to write your fucking question.
Okay, well, you just keep your feelings to yourself.
Yes, match energy. Yes.
Spooky season.
It is Friday and my children are home.
Are they off of school today?
And they got half day yesterday.
Oh, that's cool. What for?
For the county fair.
Oh, yeah. Small town. That's how they roll.
I came from... No. That's not how things work.
My kids are off next week. Because they're off Monday and Tuesday because of Columbus Day.
Yeah.
Because I live in Virginia. And,
you know. 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. We get it. Yeah.
Right. But they're off for Columbus Day and the next day, but they're calling them teacher in-service days because they can't call it Columbus Day.
Yeah, because, well, I mean, Columbus, he did, rape, pillage, and smallpox.
He didn't even find America. Whatever. That's... He didn't come here.
But you know what? Yay, white man. A mediocre white man. A mediocre white man being celebrated.
Better than a mediocre white man.
I mean, mediocre white man.
Yeah.
You know? But this week's been weird. Get this. You got to hear what my boss did to me.
Okay.
So Monday I worked because I only work 2 days a week, right? Monday I work and she's like, Molly, can you come in tomorrow? Yeah, no problem. She usually doesn't have me work days back to back. I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. I'm thinking she's going to give me an extra day this week.
Right.
I come in. I have the worst morning because Piper's been doing ROTC, so I have to take her at 5:30 in the morning and drop her off for drill. Yeah, it's fucking gross. So then I stay up, right? So I get a shower. My hair's still wet. I have black on black, but my clothes don't match because I wasn't worried about anything because it was a normal work day. I get there and she comes in, her arms full of snacks. And I go, what's up, Swap? No, you need some help? She goes, oh, it's board meeting day. The whole board of this association was there today. I have not met a single person.
Okay, wait. Maybe I don't understand fashion sense, but how does black on black not match?
It was like two different shades. So it was like one was an off black. Huh? It was bothering me. It was like a thing that was bugging me, but I just wasn't put together.
Although I did wear a real bra today because I realized after watching last week's video that I was looking kind of flat, and I have recently switched to wearing no underwire because I'm 41, almost 42 motherfucking years old, and I don't care.
The underwire hurt.
It hurts, but I do have a real bra on today.
But I looked like trash. I looked like trash.
I'm sure you didn't.
And all these old white men just come rolling in one by one. And they're like, she's like, oh, hey, this is Molly. Oh, hey, this is Molly. And I'm just like, hi, it's nice to meet you. I wish I would have known.
Not a damn one of those men cared that you had black on black and the blacks were two different colors.
No. Most of them came in their service uniform, like their shop clothes because they came from their shops to have the meeting and then go back. But it wasn't the point. But I still wanted, I don't like being shit like that sprung on me. You know, I like being prepared, and being prepared is putting on my armor, and part of my armor is making sure I look a certain way.
All right.
You're like, I don't care.
I don't know how to respond. I can't make this better for you. But
it's done and over with now, homie.
I like your ghost shirt.
It's super cute. It's boobies. It's from Shein. Like all my cutesy shirts that everybody loves is Shein.
I lack words right now.
How's your week? Are the boys alive?
Yeah. James broke his hand.
Right. How's that going?
It's been a rough week for him. He got in trouble a little bit at school because he's not allowed to do PE, and he felt like he was wasting his time because they had him walking around the gym while everybody else
that
was
makes
doing sports.
sense.
And so he caused a bit of an outburst, and so we got a kind of negative report, but I was like, okay, but I talked to him, and when I talked to the teacher, I was like, I understand his rationale. He was like, is there something I can do that's constructive? Because walking around in the square is not a constructive use of my hour.
Well, and a brainy
And I don't
child
blame him
like
for
that.
that.
And honestly, he's a lot like Piper in that manner. You have to keep a child with that big of a brain active. If you do not keep their little mind going, they are going to catch your house on fire.
Yeah. So
you left the supervillain alone. That's your own fault.
So we'll find out if he needs to have a hard cast put on Tuesday. The day this episode's actually premiering, that's when we'll know.
Fingers crossed.
What the next step is.
He healed up, and I'm sure he's very frustrated right now.
He is very frustrated.
I'm sure he's very frustrated.
His cast is preventing him from doing activities, which just means that he can't video game as well.
Right. And well, I mean, I'm sure Ninja is on hold. He loves Ninja.
Ninja's on hold. He was already thinking about quitting Ninja. He's been doing it for a year, and he's kind of like not feeling it anymore. And so I'm not sure if he's going to go back when he is able to. But as of right now, we have a medical excuse, so they've stopped charging us. It's pretty expensive.
Yeah, that stuff is expensive.
But it's been helping him. So,
did you just hear Matt blow his nose? Could you hear that through the wall like I could?
No.
Okay, good. I'm glad you couldn't hear that because it was through. He was in my bathroom.
Why do men sneeze? Like it needs to be everybody's mother.
It was a trumpet. Attention. Like he's like why?
Everyone needs to know that I'm gonna sneeze now. It's like a man thing. I don't get it.
But he was a champ and did a TikTok for us this week, so I'm gonna let him get away.
Was very funny.
He's so. If you haven't seen it, go check out our TikTok or our Instagrams. He's always such a champ with that stuff. He's just like
Tom is too. I like having Tom. Should we talk about this week's book?
Yeah, let's get it over with.
All right. So before we start for October, which this is our first episode of October, clearly, we're doing spooky books, which is not my jam. No. So Molly kind of makes me do it, but it's fine.
As the girl that forces me to read romance at least 3 times a year.
Yep. I have no.
You're like, what's the problem here?
I see no issue. Okay, so our first book is actually a fan suggestion. So shout out to Alyssa. She suggested this book.
She did.
She actually suggested this book maybe like
last year.
It was the beginning of this year, I think, but I couldn't put it on until now. But
we didn't have a right spot for it.
So I tried to find a spot for it in this season, and it seemed to make sense to put it in spooky season because it has spooky vibes, even though it's a romantasy. So the book is called The Undertaking of Hart and Mercy, and it's by Megan Bannen. And Alyssa suggested this, and so how about a synopsis?
I would love a synopsis. I'm going to be doing some slow breathing through this because I have a lot of feelings about this book.
Okay, well, you just keep your feelings to yourself while I do a synopsis, okay?
In through the nose, out through the mouth.
Shut the fuck up. Okay.
Respectfully, fuck you.
Exactly. But I do love you.
I love you.
All right. This book is best described as a macabre love story featuring demigods, zombies, and small towns. In truth, I don't really know how to define the plot of this book, but I'll give it a shot. Hart Ralston is a demigod, Tanrian Marshall, who hunts down drudges, which are basically spirits that reanimate dead bodies.
Zombies.
Like zombies, yeah. Except it's not the person that died. It's a new spirit.
It's a haunted human remains. So it's a ghoul? Let's call it a ghoul.
I don't think so, because ghouls are like
I'm looking up the definition of
ghoul.
Not like, you keep going.
They don't have a physical form. Okay. Anyway, Hart's work includes delivering the once again dead bodies to undertakers so they can receive proper ceremonial burial rites. One such undertaker is none other than Mercy Birdsall, who has taken over duties from her ill father at the family-run Birdsall and Son Undertakers. Hart and Mercy hate each other, insofar as enemies to lovers trope will allow. There never is an explanation for why she calls him heartless and he calls her merciless, but when they become anonymous pen pals, their feelings begin to change. The rest of the book is filled out with Mercy's family and Hart's found family, and an additional rival undertaker who is sort of like a Mr. Burns evil empire guy, and what will happen when enemies become lovers in this dangerous fantasy world that Megan Bannen has created.
Okay, so
I just realized I forgot to write a question, so I'm going to write down
what. Okay, you write while I define the definition of a ghoul: a mythical creature. A ghoul is a demon-like being or monstrous humanoid. The concept originated in pre-Islamic Arabian religion, associated with graveyards and consumption of human flesh. Modern fiction often uses the term to label a certain kind of monster. So it's a very vague. Like, the definition of ghoul is vague. So,
well, thank you for defining it then.
With the vaguest of definitions.
It was absolutely no help whatsoever.
Actually, it gave you plenty of time to write your fucking question. You know what?
I didn't write down the word pancreas.
Pancreas? Oh my! Question 1!
First, this is a fan suggestion from Alyssa. Like I said, in addition to Alyssa's suggestion, several other people I know have actually enjoyed this book, and it has a 4.0 rating on Goodreads. So did you like it?
I wanted to.
Same.
I wanted to like this so bad, guys. You don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I see what the writer was doing. I see what Megan's doing. There's just so many big ideas on this page, in these pages, that there was no way she was going to get this whole story in one book.
No.
And yet, for some reason, she fucking shoved it in there. Just fucking
I mean,
sitting on the suitcase, zipping it up. You know, fuck you. You're getting all in there, goddammit. All of it.
416 pages long. And by the way, it is part of a series. There's a new book in this being released in the spring next year, but it's 2 different characters. So it's sort of like the Well Met series, like it's going to follow different
You can't
characters.
see my face, but I am actually shocked and dumbfounded. What the fuck, Megan?
Yeah.
What the actual fuck?
Yeah.
Okay, continuing on.
Question 2 is along those lines. So for me, the biggest issue was the inconsistencies of this book. So did you have something that bugged you the most?
This book could not pick a theme. We could not pick a genre. We could not stay in a lane. We're enemies to lovers.
The genre is listed on here as fantasy. This is not a library copy. This is a fantasy.
Fucking shit. Bull fucking shit.
Imprint.
I just threw my fidget. That's how irritated I am. Bullshit. This is fantasy. This is romance.
It's fantasy.
There's fantasy. It turns into true crime. Like, there is just, baby, just too much. You're doing too much, Megan. I'm throwing all my fidgets. That's how fucking wound up I am about this.
I really need you to pick them up so we can focus.
Okay, you go.
I'm really bothered by the fact that there's no explaining of things. Okay.
No. Oh my God. I
may have a question about this later, but I don't even remember what page it was, but I was like 200 and some odd pages in when I texted you and said, I just found out that 2 of the characters were married.
Which 2?
Diane, the wife of Alma. Is that his partner?
Alma, yeah.
They never established that relationship. I didn't know who Diana was.
Oh, they had mentioned it before about her wife, like in the very beginning.
Oh,
but it was like a single sentence.
Okay, but then also Duckers, who is Hart's partner, and Zeddy, who is Mercy's brother, they're together.
Yeah.
And the only reason we know that is because at one point Duckers gets a letter from Zeddy. It's never established that that's his boyfriend.
Yeah.
Zeddy just sends him a letter. And it's like, oh, I got a letter from Zeddy.
So here's my biggest problem with this book.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my biggest problem.
Mm-hmm.
This is a brilliant idea. Okay? We are in another realm. I love that. Okay? First, you're setting us in another realm. One, she doesn't explain fucking jack shit.
No, and at one point she tries to explain it, but we're already halfway through the book. She didn't build the world, Molly.
In the first fucking chapters, she throws us in like we know these characters, we know this world,
like
we know this magic.
In the middle of the series.
And that set the wrong tone for me the rest of this novel.
Absolutely.
I liked the relationship between Hart and Mercy. I was rooting for them. I really enjoyed it, but I struggled so hard staying in this world because I didn't know this world. She gave us, she built only parts of it. It's like building a house and leaving the windows and the doors off.
Right.
There's no fucking point. There was no point.
Hart rides around on a it's like a horse, but just by the Equimarius.
I think of the little
horse.
I was thinking of the Thestrals from fucking Harry Potter. You know, the invisible horses, like the...
Well, I didn't know what it was, but I assumed that just based on the name and the fact that the one fucking horse was always looking for water, that they were like water horses. And they're mythical water horses.
Yeah.
But then, I can't even remember what they're called, but like the animal mail carriers, it's never...
Equimarius.
No, that's...
The Thestrals. The Thestrals.
Yeah, it's never established what they are.
I Googled it. I couldn't find it.
And Mercy drives a duck, which I'm assuming is like the ducks that you can like as a tourist ride, where it's like
it's spelled D-U-C-K. Yeah,
a duck, but it's not capitalized because duck actually stands for something, and I can't remember what it is. Tom would know because he's told me before, but it's a vehicle that can drive on the road and be water. And I'm pretty sure since they live on an island that's what she drives. But it's, again, never established. And you want to know what bothers me more than anything? Two things. Number one, what I wrote on my Post-it. Pancreas.
Oh, fucking pancreas.
Okay, so...
Was that important?
Yes. I'll get it later.
So the pancreas.
So the pancreas has to be, you have to slice through the pancreas in order to
puncture it.
Yeah, puncture it in order for the drudges to not be able to take over the body. So that's one of Ducky's like selling points, is that like Ducker's selling points is that he doesn't have a pancreas, so he'll never be able to be a drudge. But can we just talk about for a moment how Hart says that is where the spirit lives? That's where
we are soulless.
That's where our souls are, is in the pancreas. And so this is my big issue with the whole pancreas thing.
Well, you finally found a use for it.
If that is where your soul is, and Duckers doesn't have one, how is he alive?
He's a ginger.
Okay, well, that's not helpful.
No, they tattooed. I remember this because he was talking about how there's a specialty ink for those that lose their pancreas, and they ink on a variation of their soul onto their body. So they have a tattoo of like a bottle on their fucking arm.
Remember that?
I don't know, because it was fast. They really covered that really quickly.
Okay, well, here's my other inconsistency, and this is the one that pisses me off more than anything. They actually start this pen pal relationship, which I'm going to talk more about later. I have a question about later. It is never established that they are of opposite gender in writing, that the people that are writing to them is opposite gender. She makes the assumption that a man's writing her, and he makes the assumption that a woman's writing him, and they never use personal pronouns in those letters, other than I. So there's no way that they could have known. And they don't use names. It's friend. So I want to know how they made this decision. Tom's going to be really mad about me banging on the desk. I'm sorry.
You know what happens when you assume, right?
Well, they ended up making an ass of both of them, so that makes sense.
Yeah. It's just...
How does this book have a 4.0 rating?
I have no idea.
I read through some of the Goodreads reviews.
I'm so disappointed in it.
Huh?
I'm so disappointed in it. It is.
I am
one.
too.
I'm so disappointed in it because I wanted to like this book.
The concept is so cool. And I specifically put this book in this month because,
you needed a romance in here because we ain't reading romance this month.
We have not done a romance. This is the first one of the season. And we're not doing another one. Well, we're doing another romantasy. We're doing Fourth Wing in November. And then we're not doing, we're doing like December holiday romance.
Fourth Wing, you better not fuck us up the way this book did.
I swear.
I swear to God, we will be done with book talk. Book talk.
This Bookstagram. Talk. This was a recommendation from Melissa, a fan.
I bet she got it on Book Talk.
She didn't. She has a NetGalley account. I don't know if she read this one on NetGalley or what, but like she's an influencer too.
Right. I know.
Yeah.
She has different tastes than us, I guess.
And that's not true either, because I've read a lot of books that she's recommended that I just didn't put on pod because I
don't get it. Somebody needs to come explain it to us.
I don't get it either. All right, let's move on. Mercy's family is in a tough spot. Her brother Zeddy dropped out of Undertaker school. Her father,
because nobody knew about that.
Right. His father is recovering from a heart attack. Listen, side note. I was roommates with a girl. She was a bitch. I want to go on record with that. We are no longer friends because she's a bitch. She dropped out of school and her parents didn't know. She dropped out of college. Not just her major. She dropped out of college and was working at a bank. They were still paying tuition. She wasn't going to school. She had dropped out.
Was she living in the dorms?
No, we lived in an off-campus apartment.
Oh. Gotcha. Wow.
She wasn't enrolled. They thought she was.
Wow.
She kept that secret for an entire year and a half before she told them the truth.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild, man.
Yep. All right. So Zeddy dropped out of Undertaker school. Her father is recovering from a heart attack. Mercy is drowning in work that she isn't supposed to inherit because of some policy on gender politics.
Because gender.
And her sister Lil is pregnant with her first child. And what do you think of the Birdsall family?
She thought that out. That took that was thought out, methodical, detailed.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Birdsong family was a starting point.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we had more detail. Again, this is me wishing for more detail, right? Like filling in the world. The thing that bothered me the most is while we're in their home and we're filling their world, we're not in their world. We don't really get deep descriptions. We don't get like every time they talk about this altar where the keys go, okay, after the dead have passed.
I still don't really even understand the keys. There's a birth key and there's a death key.
Right.
And the birth key you get for your child when you've conceived, and the death key you get because you've bought
for your death. Like, right. But they have this. They talk about it like it's a mantle over a fireplace. I don't know if it is over a fireplace.
No,
I don't fucking know. We don't know. But it's like they take a sacrament, like the Catholics, they take, instead of holy water and dotting themselves, and crossing themselves, they take salt water and they dab it on a key. And like, this could have been an opportunity for such a beautiful moment of ritual and to describe and explain this world to us better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Explain how they transition and believe in all these gods. And it is glossed over.
Yeah.
And it's just, I need you to be better.
I feel like if she would have made this book not 400 pages and instead made it 300 pages and turned this into a filled out world trilogy.
With a series. Oh my God. Imagine if she would have done what Deb did. You know what I mean? She would have.
I feel like you need to pick a different example because I don't like those.
He does not care.
Okay. Good story.
Cool story, bro.
Still murder.
Still murder.
Still
cool
murder.
Story. Still murder.
All right. Hart was raised without a father. He doesn't know who his father is, but he's aware he's one of the new gods. Again, New Gods versus Old Gods is something that's never fleshed out. Okay. Hart has found a family in his late partner, Bill, his former partner, Alma, and his new partner, Duckers.
Ooh, shocker. A guy named Bill running away from his family. Sorry.
That is a deep cut that only if you know, you know. What do you think of this found family of the Marshalls?
Okay, so Marshalls are only
Also,
gods.
Bill didn't abandon him. Bill was his partner who died, so.
Right, but he abandoned his own family. He left his family to be a marshal.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't fucking get it, man. Like, we don't talk about the gods enough. They have barracks, but they have their own homes, but they're paid well, but they're not paid well. Like, she is contradicting herself constantly when we talk about the Marshalls. And I'm so confused about their structure, and it just... And then there's a sheriff's office, but the sheriffs and the marshals don't talk. And
well, it's like the local PD and the Fed.
Right.
They don't communicate well.
Right, but they know when the other's in the area. Like,
but Hart wasn't there on official business. He like showed up to like talk to Mercy.
I don't know. It's just there's gaps. There's fucking holes. It's Swiss cheese, man. It's Swiss cheese, man.
Yeah. It's a problem.
And I liked it at the same time. What makes me the maddest is I liked it. And I wanted to like it more, and I couldn't like it more because it needs work.
Yeah. I mean, I just felt like there were so many plot holes that it wasn't good. Like, if you fill out that world, like you had texted me at one point and were like, is there a map? And I was like, no, there's no map.
Because a map would have helped.
The map, I'd have given him a half of extra star. I'd have gone to a 2.5 from a 2 if I had a fucking map, because then I would at least fucking know where we
are. I'm so glad we're on the same page with this shit.
I mean, it doesn't happen too often that we both dislike a book that I choose.
It's not even that I dislike it. I'm disappointed.
Usually, if we both dislike a book, you've chosen it. But
I am so disappointed.
Yeah.
There is so much beautiful work in here. And there's so much thought and creativity and genius in here. And it was just washed down the drain.
Yeah. I wonder if we did some searching, if this was first self-published and maybe it got picked up.
I don't know.
I don't really know anything about Orbit Books.
I don't know.
It's an imprint of something. Maybe of Hatchet.
The first thing that comes up on Google is The Undertaking of Hart and Mercy spicy. Really?
Well, I have a question about that in a minute.
Then it's what is the romance book about Undertaking? What is an Imkilla? What is an Equestremare? Who is the god rat in mythology? What god is associated with rats? So we're not the only one not happy with this book.
So
people are Googling this shit.
So Orbit is the publisher, which is an imprint of the Hatchet book group, which is an imprint of Little Brown book group. So it's an imprint of an imprint. I don't know what else to say. Okay. Hart and Mercy begin exchanging letters anonymously through what the animal mail carriers call heart letters. H-E-A-R-T.
She's won awards for this book.
You're completely ghosted out now. You moved your...
I went down I'm sorry. I went down a goddamn rabbit hole. I'm back. Sorry.
You won awards for this?
Yes.
I gave her an award.
2023, the Rusa Reading List for Best Romance. Book Riot Best Book of 2022. Pace Magazine Best Fantasy Book of 22. BuzzFeed 35 Absolutely Favorite Romance. Apple Best Audiobook of 22. Apple Best Book of August of 22. Amazon's editor picks for Best Science Fiction and Fantasy in August.
What? Did they pay for those awards? On the front cover, she has a blurb from Helen Huang, who is the writer of the Kiss Quotient, which we both liked. She has a blurb from Jen DeLuca, who wrote the Well Met series, which we both liked.
Love.
There's a quote from Ruby Dixon, who wrote the alien
Blue
porn.
alien.
Yeah.
Shit. What is that? Ice Planet
Yeah.
Barbarians.
So, I mean, there are blurbs on here from a lot of authors that we have really enjoyed, and I just don't.
Don't put enjoyed and Ice Planet Barbarians together.
Okay, well.
We
Book was
didn't.
just fucking. That's all it was. Fucking an alien.
And Nick's talking about, hey, you know the Ice Planet Hoth? That.
All right, so there, Hart and Mercy begin exchanging letters anonymously through what the animal mail carriers call heart letters, but Heart, so heart, not Hart the person. While writing the letters, they begin to fall for the other person and decide to meet up in a very "you've got mail" fashion. The reveal is awkward. Thoughts on the storyline?
Who picked this? Who decided they go together? That's what Bob. Who's the magical being that was like, oh, Heart and Mercy? That's what I need to know. How did these letters came to magically be?
Well, they're the letters that they were intended for the other person. I don't know. They're magical animals that used to deliver mail for the gods, and now they just deliver mail for
It's
humans.
stupid. I mean, I liked the characters. I loved the rabbit. I thought the rabbit was fucking hilarious.
Amazing.
And he was like, when Hart.
I need Jack.
Spoiler alert.
Play him.
Spoiler alert. Hart dies, and the rabbit goes, and the rabbit goes, God damn it! He's so mad, and he's crying, and it's like that's friendship right there.
He's
crying
because he won't get his liquor and tips anymore.
And he was friends. You know, it was his friend. It was probably one of his only friends. He's kind of a dick.
A while to warm up to him, but
like he's kind of. I mean, they're both kind of dicks. So of course he's mad. I mean, I'd be pissed at you for dying early too.
Fair. Have you ever seen the movie Tommy Boy?
Yes.
All right, so you know that scene where Tommy
and a little cool. No, not
exactly. So you know that scene where Chris Farley is like talking about the "here comes the meat wagon."
Yeah,
the guy's puking and the guy smoking the cigar.
Yeah.
That character that he goes into there is the rabbit.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's the rabbit.
And that is a millennial explanation if I've ever heard one.
That's an elder millennial or Gen X for sure. So these letters, and then they basically do the "you've got mail" thing. So when I was on Goodreads and looking and saw that it was part of a series and that there's another book coming out that's two minor characters from this book, that one is described as When Harry Met Sally. So
I'm audibly rolling my eyes. If you could physically see me to our audio members, my eyes have completely done a full circle in my head.
I don't even think When Harry Met Sally is that good of a movie. Everyone talks about the chemistry between.
I don't like it. Shove it. I don't like the way Billy
scene together at the very. Oh, wait a minute! I'm talking about Sleepless in Seattle. I like When Harry Met Sally. Wrong. I do like that one.
I don't like Harry Met Sally. I don't like the way Billy Crystal treats Meg Ryan the whole movie.
Like a mediocre white man. That's exactly how they treat people.
Exactly. That's actually you're right.
And you know who else is in that movie? Carrie Fisher.
Sure. I fucking love Carrie Fisher.
I love Carrie Fisher. She pulls out a physical Rolodex, people.
Carrie Fisher. I miss her. I miss her in comedy. I miss her in television. I miss her.
I miss her in Star Wars.
I miss her in Star Wars.
Rest in peace, General Organa.
You know, and her daughter is doing such a beautiful job raising that baby. Like, she looks so much like her mom, too. And we lost Demi Reynolds around that time, too. God, that was so tragic.
Just a few days later. I think it was, like, literally heartbreak that killed her.
Her daughter died.
Because Carrie was on an airplane. If she would have been home, she probably would have survived. But she went so long without medical care. Anyway, that's not relevant to this.
So now we're depressed. I mean, it's more. We want to talk about that more than we want to talk about this book.
Okay, but we have to talk about this book because we've only filled 30 minutes of content, and
10 of it we just talked about Carrie Fisher.
We have not been talking over that long, but if you keep going, we will be.
I mean, I can.
Can we move on?
Fine.
All right. So if you haven't seen You've Got Mail, you should because it's good.
Where have you? I mean, okay, if you haven't seen
Very
Gone Mail,
predictable rom-com with two of the best rom-com actors of the night.
I'm assuming if you haven't seen You Got Mail, your birth year starts with a 20.
Yeah. And your millennial mother hasn't shown it to you yet.
Or forced you to watch it yet.
Right. So anyway, what happens in that is that Meg Ryan is the owner of a really small bookstore in New York City, shop around the corner. And Tom Hanks is the heir to the Fox Books throne.
FOX.
And they are building a Fox Books.
Which is supposed to be like Barnes and Nobles.
Yeah, it's basically like Borders or Barnes and Noble.
And Borders is no more.
I know. Rest in peace to Borders. That was my favorite bookstore. My favorite chain bookstore.
I like Books A Million. Half Price Books is pretty solid.
Half Price Books is owned by Borders.
I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. You learn something new every day. Moving on.
And so is Walden Books, but that's also no longer a thing. Anyway, so when Fox Books opens, clearly it's going to put Little Shop around the corner out of business. And it was her mom's business. And so they have, a love-hate, well, they hate each other. But they're also emailing in the You've Got Mail, the AOL dial-up.
Because they met in a chat room and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Take them to the match.
ASL in the chat room. ASL.
We all said we were 20 from California.
I didn't, but okay.
You tell the truth?
I was happy to be from Ohio. I'm a little less happy about it now, but I was very happy about it then. Anyway, so they are emailing each other and they're actually getting to know each other on a personal level, IRL, and then they're getting to know each other through email. They agree as email pen pals to meet up, and when Tom Hanks's character shows up at the cafe, he realizes that Meg Ryan's character is the character, and he's been falling for this woman, and he knows that
fun cameo in that movie is a very young Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Playing the BFF of Tom Hanks.
Yeah. And so anyway, that's what happens in this book.
Right.
Where they go to meet up, and Hart realizes, with the help of Duckers, because Duckers knows Mercy because that's his boyfriend's sister, even though that's never established. At that point in time, he hasn't even gotten a letter from Zeddy yet. But anyway, he tells him, "Hey, it's Mercy," and he's like, "Well, shit, I don't want that to be Mercy." And just like Tom Hanks does in the movie, he comes in and kind of goads her a little bit. So how did you feel about that storyline?
Well, it was like
the longest circle to get to the motherfucking question. It's like I needed a map to follow that.
I got where you were going. It just took a minute.
It took a lot of minutes.
It took a minute. It's cute. It's definitely millennial inspired. It's I had, and there was this little, I don't know. I also, if you've seen The Lake House, it kind of has the Lake House vibes to me too, just because of the magic aspect of it,
I don't get that because Lake House, they're in two different timelines.
Right. That's where it doesn't it's just the way that they're strangers. I don't know. The magic aspect makes me lean towards Lake House, but that's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. Did I like this? It was original-ish.
It was literally a copy of You've Got Mail.
It was.
But you just called it original.
It was. You're right.
Oh my gosh. You really need to read a good book.
Next week's book is really good. I'm enjoying it, actually.
I am too.
Like I said, I'm frustrated with this. This book is frustrating. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to find the words. You go. Words are hard.
I don't think it was terrible. It was predictable. I saw coming from a mile away that this would be the miscommunication trope, which I have a question
Yeah,
about shortly. I knew that's what it was going to be. I don't know. I struggled with it because a lot of times people get mad about miscommunication trope. I guess I'm skipping ahead because this is what leads to the miscommunication trope. This is what causes them to eventually break up because Hart knew all along that Murphy was the person he was writing to. Well, not all along, but from that point. And a lot of times people say they hate the miscommunication trope because it's like if you just talk to each other, then it wouldn't be a thing. And I don't mind the miscommunication trope because I don't think that love is perfect. I think that there are struggles in relationships. But for this one, I'm like, really? He could have just fucking told her the truth.
Well, what bothers me about it and what frustrates me is Mercy is one of the smartest people in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's so smart, she figured out that the bad guy was bad guy, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I knew that was going to be the case.
Right, of course it was. But she became a forensic scientist, like, out of nowhere. But she couldn't do the math that Hart was fucking the guy that likes tea.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me he dropped all those hints during that meal and she didn't fucking catch a single one?
Yeah.
You're telling me she's that fucking dense? I doubt it.
Yeah.
I fucking doubt it.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I doubt
so when Hart and Mercy finally do get together, we get what I'm calling cracked door. Because it's not really open door love scenes. It's not really spicy. We get like little glimpses and then the rest is closed door. So did you feel like this was a good payoff for a romance story? Like, I did enjoy that they had some really good.
Deborah Harkness at least gives us fucking.
Okay. Not in the book that I read, but okay.
In the second book.
I didn't continue with the series. That one was
That's
nothing.
a you problem.
You will like to know that I have been watching the show.
It's so good.
I've watched like the first 3 episodes, I think.
It's on HBO Max right now, gang. Go watch it. It's so goddamn good.
Yep. I've watched I think the first 3 episodes. I was watching the Shadow and Bone series on Netflix and it just pissed me off, so I stopped watching it.
That's what I heard. I was thinking about starting it, but
I don't know if I want to read the books. If you haven't read the books, which you haven't, the Shadow and Bone series is probably really good. I have read the books and love the books, and I just don't like
you off that the series is.
Gotcha. Yeah, they tried to combine the whole Grishaverse together, and
it's just not working.
Actually, the Grishaverse is in 3 separate parts, and it needed to be that way. So anyway, yeah, I didn't find the cracked door. There's like one scene where she's like bathing and he's just like watching her, and I'm like, really? That's
shit or get off the pot, gang. Like,
come on. All right, so we kind of already talked about the miscommunication trope, so I'll skip that one. But a big side story in this book is that there's a rival Undertaker, the Cunninghams, and
again, pick a lane.
Right. They're trying to basically put the other Undertakers out of business. And they've been successful, some of them, but not the Birdsalls. And the story's big plot twist is the Cunninghams are actually dumping additional dead bodies into Tarnia.
It's greed.
To create...
Call it Narnia. Just call it Narnia. It's
Tanria.
Just
Tanria.
It's Narnia.
I put an extra R in the typing, but it's Tanria. So basically what they're doing is they're taking the dead bodies. They're patching the pancreas, throwing the dead bodies through a portal back to Tanria, which we don't understand where Tanria is to get the portal. We don't get it, all of that.
We don't know where anything is. We have no idea where any of this shit is. It could be the next street over for all we know. This could all be happening on 4 blocks. We have fucking no idea.
We actually don't understand why there are spirits running around Tanria when no one lives there until
like the last 4 chapters.
Yeah. So they're basically taking the bodies, dumping them in Tanria so that they'll create more drudges. And the reason they're doing this is because when the marshals get the drudges and pierce the pancreas, there are several Undertakers, including Mercy and including the Cunninghams, that have a grant that the government pays them to care for these bodies. So it's basically liquid income for them.
Right.
So
Who's
they're
already
recycling
making a
dead
shit ton of
bodies.
money. And he's already making a shit ton of money.
Mm-hmm. And they're recycling dead bodies. So what did you think about this plot twist?
We needed a villain.
I guess.
Well, I mean,
you don't need a villain in a love story.
But the ex-boyfriend, I'm getting to a point. The ex-boyfriend could have been the villain.
Mm-hmm.
We could have cut this whole thing out. We could have just made it about how there is a chain of you know,
the
or
zombies were the villain. If you ask me, we didn't need another one.
it's just, why is there so much going on?
So
Why?
I kept a list of all the inconsistencies that I had questions about and my predictions, and I definitely predicted very early on that this was going to be what was happening. That the reason there were so many new drudges was because they were dumping bodies.
I figured somebody was doing some mad science bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I figured as much. Especially as much as Mercy was like, I prefer the old ways, salting and wrapping the body. The new way with the embalming is just not right. So as soon as we went to the new versus old, I was like, oh, he's the bad guy.
But also, here's another inconsistency in the story. It makes no sense that there's any other way that the bodies are getting into Tanria because people don't live there.
No.
People don't live there. The marshals are basically just patrolling the grounds to keep people safe and to kill the drudges.
Because Jesus Christ. It's so fucking stupid.
And they've made a point in this book to say that there's no dragons. And in the next
everybody's fucking looking for dragons.
And
that's the only reason people come to the fucking area is to look for dragons, and there is no goddamn dragons.
Except in the next book, there's dragons. Yeah, exactly.
Bullshit flag, gang, for those listening and not watching. Bullshit flag.
In an attempt to play hero, we discover that Hart is not immortal. After this, he sacrifices himself to save the wandering spirits, which are what makes the drudges. During this time, we meet his actual new godfather. It turns out Hart isn't immortal, but he does get a second life, because of course he does. Thoughts on this?
You don't get 7 lives, you get 2. 1 from me, 1 for your father.
1 for your mother, you mean? But yeah, exactly.
I don't know, you can have 2 dads if you want.
But he didn't.
I know. He was made by a god and a woman. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. It's just... it had to be the house that looked like his childhood home. It's always been his childhood home, and he recognized it right away as soon as he started doing shit and didn't think to tell anybody.
And he was always supposed to die his first death there.
Give me a fucking break. And his mom's key opens the goddamn door. Give me a break. Mm-hmm. Give me a break. Mm-hmm. Can we be done?
That was my last question. So yeah.
Okay. No, it's not that. It's more of a... I'm disappointed in this book.
I am too.
I'm
really disappointed in it because I heard from several people how good it was.
I see, and I've been saying this the whole time. You've been saying this the whole time. We can see how this could be a 4-star book, a 5-star book.
Yeah, but I'm not going to make it one when it isn't.
I see your intent. Good ups.
If you actually dive into the Goodreads reviews and you click on 1 or 2 stars, you will see how many people DNF'd. Because they'll list the percentage of the book that they finished before they DNF'd. And I basically had to switch to listening to the audiobook and reading the physical book at the same time so I could finish in time for us to film because
I listened to the audiobook.
So not invested. Okay, so let me ask you a question. I had a copy of the audiobook that
was borrowed, interestingly.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Were the narrators annoying, or was this just me having a bad time?
They were awful. They were awful narrators. Their voices were weird. It was
Okay, good. I feel justified then, because I thought maybe I just had a bad copy.
And the audiobook gets a 2-star as well.
2 stars for me. Well, I mean, that's all I got. So how about we talk about what we're doing next week? We made it an hour, so.
Woohoo!
All right, I don't have a copy of this book.
Alyssa, we're going to give you a do-over, but you have to come on.
Yeah.
We're going to give you a do-over, but you have to come on. After that, you don't get any more books, Lovey.
Come on.
Huh?
Well, I'll see. She did not want to come on, but I'll see.
Alyssa, you can just, we're going to give you one more book, baby.
Well, I have a few others that she recommended to me that, like some that I've enjoyed, but ones that I haven't read yet too.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so next week, I don't have a copy of this book, so I'm just going to do this, and Tom can put it right here. The book is called 13, and it is by Steve Kavanaugh, and we just realized a couple days ago that it's actually the 4th book in a series.
It's the 3rd. I opened the 3rd book.
Shows 4.
It's a 3rd book in a 4-book series. It came up when I bought it on Audible. It showed me here. Let me see if I can pull up the screenshot I got.
It says Eddie Flynn number 4 on Goodreads.
Oh, this is book 3 right there.
Okay, so there's a prequel called The Cross. Number 1 is The Defense. Number 2 is The Plea. Number 3 is The Liar. And number 4 is 13, which is what we're reading.
But
and then 50-50 is book 5. The Devil's Advocate is book 6. The Accomplice is book 7. It's 7 books.
Damn. But I will say this, friends. If you are reading along with us and playing the home game,
you don't have to have read the other books.
No, because
we didn't even know.
We didn't know. I picked this because Book Talk suggested it because I found it interesting that it's a serial killer who is in a jury on the jury who he framed for the guy that he killed their people, right?
Yeah.
That sounds amazing, right?
Yeah. So, it actually is really good. It's sort of like, it reminds me of Will Trent. I mean, Will Trent's an officer. Yes. But this guy is a lawyer, but you don't have to read all the books. You don't have to read the book.
This book, you can read it and keep up with us on pod this month. And I'm going to read the rest of the series because I'm enjoying the author and his style.
Isn't my genre.
But I'm on chapter 25. I'm several hours in, and I didn't notice that this was...
I'm halfway through the book, and when you texted me and told me, I was like, how?
I don't know. I actually was bad. I was freaking out because I was like, oh my God, we're going to have to explain how we got this far. And,
no, it's not like that.
Okay. And then the week after that.
And then in 2 weeks, we're actually reading this book. And the reason I'm plugging this one in 2 weeks, What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall. The reason I'm plugging this is because our friend, author extraordinaire Francesca Zappia will be back.
Oh my God, Chessie. By the way, did you see her Instagram today?
Yes, her cosplay is on point.
I didn't recognize her. I didn't know who it was. Amazing. I saw it and I was like, who is that? And I saw it and I was like, oh, it's Chessie. And I was like, I didn't know it was her. Good job, girl.
Cosplay too. She makes her own cosplay. It's really impressive.
She's a cosplayer, an artist, and an author now.
She's amazing.
Amazing.
So that's all I have. Any final thoughts or is that it?
I'm done.
All right.
Literally done. Love you guys. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
Thank you for joining us on Book Besties. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The views discussed here are those of April and Molly, not those of anyone else. Today's book was The Undertaking of Hart and Mercy by Megan Bannen. Your Book Besties are Molly Biggs and April Watkins. Editing by Thomas Watkins. And music is Sleep Sweetly by Prigida. Don't forget to follow the Book Besties on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. If you'd like to contact the Book Besties, please email us at bookbestiespod@gmail.com or visit our website, bookbestiespodcast.com. Until next time, besties, get lost in your favorite book.